like to chat to kids in other countries all over the world? Well, if you had to do it by phone, it would be very, very expensive. Internet Relay Chat provides a much cheaper alternative.
Plenty of stuff.
You can get shareware that enables you to run IRC off the web.
Yeah.
Thank you for chatting with us today. There is something great.
And what do these kids like best about IRC?
I won a trip to Japan and I've been able to chat to some people on the internet, so I'll know some people in Osaka when I go there. I had to do an assignment for my school project about Antarctica and I couldn't find any information from books. So I looked on the internet and I found all that I needed.
So today, we went to, spoke to some people in Bahrain and found out over there that it was 10:30 in the morning and it was 5 p.m. over here. So the kids discovered the time shift between the different countries and also had some from California and I think it was 11 p.m. at night over there. So the part the kids like best with the internet is the live chat session because they can ask questions of other kids overseas and get an instant response.
Okay, here comes the first of today's Brain Onlines.
Hey, that's a great idea. That's what I could call my debut film.
What are you talking about?
Well, according to...
If you've spent any time around computers, you've probably heard of the word terminal. Now, most of us think we know exactly what we're talking about when we use that word, but do we? Is a terminal A device where data can be input and output from a system? B, another name for a workstation? Or C, a command that stops a program? I guess I should warn you that the answer is not as obvious as it may seem. Rejoin us after the break and see how you... Okay, do you think you've managed to guess correctly for today's first Brain Online? We asked whether you knew what the word terminal means. The options were A, a device where data can be input and output from a system, B, another name for a workstation, or C, a command that stops a program. Well, C is obviously wrong, but you may have been torn between option A and B. It turns out that A is correct. A terminal is a device where data of any description can enter and leave a system, and terminals can take many forms. The most obvious type is made up of a keyboard for inputting information or instructions and a display screen to allow the system to report back to you. This unit here may look like a PC, but it's actually just a terminal. It has no memory or processing power of its own. The operator is using it to link into a computer on the other side of town via a modem. Now, a lot of you probably answered that a terminal and a workstation are the same thing, but they're not. What's the difference? Well, some kinds of terminals don't need an operator to perform their tasks. Workstations are a type of terminal, but they do need a human operator to make them work. So it's best not to mix up the terms.
Hi guys. A few weeks ago we featured a Brain Online about MIDI. MIDI stands for Musical Instrument Digital Interface. I thought I'd tell you a bit more about the sound card you've got on your computer. There are two modes of sound that your average sound card can handle: digital sound and MIDI. Sound cards featuring MIDI are particularly useful if you want to hook up your computer to a synthesizer. When the musical instrument is plugged into the joystick port, control data and sound data can transfer between the two. Sounds from the synth can be played into the computer. The computer can manipulate them and make the synth replay the music. If you have a sequencing program, like Cakewalk, but you don't have an electronic keyboard, you can configure your computer keyboard to act like the piano keys. But if you're not a musician, how are you going to make use of your sound card's MIDI functions? Some games, particularly strategy games, use MIDI to play the background music and digital sound channels to play the sound effects. This way, the computer has less processing to do and takes up less hard drive space. Better all round. The other main audio mode your sound card supports is something called digital audio. Game, sound effects, startup sounds and warning sounds are stored as digital audio. WAV files, real audio and MPEG all fit into this category. Almost any sound card that you'd happen to have installed will be able to handle some MIDI and some digital audio functions, enough to cover home applications. You'll only need to worry about this further if you get into specialised jobs like composing music.
The question was, what is an electronic organizer? A program that reconfigures and optimizes hard drives, or C, a kind of handheld electronic diary. If you picked option C, you made a good choice. An electronic organizer looks like a cross between a desktop computer and a calculator. Their features vary, but they usually include a calendar and diary, a personal address and phone number book, and a reminder note section. Instead of being weighed down with paper, you can just slip an electronic organizer into your pocket. Some people call them personal information managers or digital organizers. If you don't have the money to spend on an electronic organizer, you can always install something like Microsoft Schedule onto your computer. It has pretty much the same features, except, of course, it isn't portable. At PC4U, we always get a lot of email about games. What's the latest? What's the best? And how can I set my PC up for the best gaming experience? An important part of PC gaming is what's behind the graphics and sound. Chips and bits distribute graphics and sound cards. We dropped in on them to check out the very latest.
The Monster series is for the gaming person. They're a daughter card, whether it be the graphics or the sound card. They're incorporated into the PC to live alongside your existing graphic or sound card to give a new dimension to the gaming aspect. The Monster 3D graphics card is dedicated to give pure 3D rendering effect to your games, whereas the 3D sound card gives a new dimension to the sound card, which is a totally new release product and it's unique in its field.
Alright, in the world of gaming, what's the difference between these types of accelerator cards and something like an MMX processor?
The basic difference between an MMX technology and to upgrade an existing card, MMX is a new stage or new process in the Intel range, okay? It's basically designed to give you a new functionality in the graphics area. However, it doesn't really matter in our case what processors involved. With the new Diamond series multimedia cards, we can slot those in directly, independent of what particular type of chip you're using, which will give you then a greater enhancement and an easier upgrade path in the future for you.
Adding new circuits to your computer may sound a bit daunting if you've never done it before. So what is exactly involved?
Basically what's involved with doing any type of upgrade on your computer, it's basically a piece of hardware and a piece of software known as a driver. Once these are put into the machine, into your PC, theoretically it should be an easy job. With the Diamond cards, it is an incredibly easy job. You place your new graphic card in the motherboard itself, load up a piece of software, being the driver, and utilising either Windows 95, etc., it will automatically pick up the card for you, do the installation, and do all the configuration for you. A very simple process. Well, the main areas, with the new graphic cards from Diamond, it takes the full advantage of the new software that's being written today for Windows 95, Microsoft 3D FX, etc., and OpenGL. Now, the main thing to consider is that the graphic card will be able to use all your old software, but will take full advantage of all the new games coming out in the near future to give you that perfect rendering effect.
This type of 3D graphics and sound perspective capability used to be exclusive to expensive commercial software, but the price gap with domestic software has narrowed. So if you're a serious gamer, is this sort of upgrade just an expensive luxury?
In the future, these will be the standard type of things that everyone will expect in a normal computer system. The new games, of course, today are designed to run with these particular graphics cards. So therefore, again, to take full advantage, what you need to do is to have and utilise these things.
Okay, Nick, before I do Brain Online 3, go ahead and tell us another one of your movie ideas.
Do you really want to hear it?
Not really, but I suppose you're going to say it anyway.
Okay, in this one, I'm a World War II ace fighter pilot. There'll be
To an ISP, or Internet Service Provider. ISPs offer things like internet access, email, and help desk support. What sort of computers does an ISP need to have in their office to run all these services? It could be A, ordinary PCs, B, a supercomputer, or C, a standard mainframe configuration. You've got the break to think it over. We'll see you back here soon.
Welcome back. I've just thought of another plot for my film. What happens is...
Evan, can you just zoom in so he's not in the shot anymore? Thanks. Before the break, we asked what sort of computers an internet service provider needs in their office to run net access, email, and stuff like that. Possible answers were A, ordinary PCs, B, a supercomputer, or C, a standard mainframe configuration. Well, it might surprise you to find out that operations at an ISP can be run by ordinary PCs. Some of the PCs are used in a manner that may be unfamiliar to the home user, such as acting as a server for the other computers. And of course, they need more than one computer on site to do all the various tasks required. ISPs can use normal modems to receive your calls, but they use faster links like ISDN lines to connect their systems to the rest of the internet. Of course, some of the larger ISPs do install a lot more sophisticated equipment as their business grows, but the smaller ISPs do just fine using the same types of computers we have in our homes.
There's a lot of work to be done down
Of our addresses if you want to send stuff in. By mail, it's PC4U, care of the station you're now watching. By email, it's pc4u@whirlpool.net.au. What are you doing now?
I'm trying...